my mind. I am the one who's aware. I am not my mind. I'm the one who's aware. I'm not my mind. I'm the one who's aware. Okay, we're live. Hi, soul. Being absolutely beautiful every time. So I wanted to come here and make this really short video because I know it's going to be free a lot of you, especially the heavy hitters in the mind, right? If you find yourself that you live from your mind and you overthink and you're chasing, you're doing everything right, you've done the inner work, you believe you know of your divinity, you're doing everything right, but it seems like life keeps getting harder and harder and harder. And especially if you're experiencing some kind of psychosis. So there's a lot of stigma around mental illness. I know this because I come from a culture where you don't talk about your mental health issues, your what's going on, what's really bothering you, right? And it is until I had like a psychosis of my own, I had voices, I like what they would define as schizophrenia. I don't know if I'm even pronouncing it right. I had in the spiritual world they call them psychic attacks. And I just had a lot of intrusive thoughts, and I was a victim to my mind. I was constantly depressed, and I had a dark night of the soul, and that started a chain of events that led me to awaken to the gap between my mind and my awareness. And that gap was like the best gift ever because it helped me understand where my power was, that I'm not my mind, I am the pure awareness. And also from that standpoint, which was my God-given throne, that separation is your God-given throne, and you're being aware of the monkey mind, of the mind, and you're shopping for these thoughts, right? But when you're really into your human, you're not really aware that you're shopping for these thoughts. You just believe your thoughts. You believe everything your mind tells you. And this is why it's so imperative to raise your frequency, to do things that actually pour into you, that raise your vibration. You eat clean, you exercise, you hang out around people who pour into you, and you do practices that actually support your power, your God-given throne. And that's my specialty, in helping you transmute in real time all these yucky thoughts that have been passed down from our ancestors. A lot of people are not aware that most of these thoughts, they've been passed down from our ancestors and from their traumas and our own traumas of living life and experiencing life, right? And it's a lot of heaviness. And if you're watching this video, it's most probably because you're the black sheep. You're the one who gets to transmute this and embody the power of transmuting the pain into wisdom. And the issue I find with mental health is the separation of spirituality from medicine. Really, because I mean, how can you separate anything from spirituality? We are of spirit. And when you separate spirit from anything, from matter, it's like dead. Right? It's like you can't do alchemy, you can't transform really. And it limits the way you perceive life, it limits it, and it disempowers you, because your soul, you're a limitless being, you're an eternal being. That's your essence. This meat suit, we're just borrowing it, right? But our true essence is spirit. And this is why we're always aiming for our highest potential. We always want to do more. And we always want to attach our value to something bigger and bigger and bigger, which is not, it's the distorted way of doing it. But because there's something within us that knows that there's more to us. And until you connect to your eternity, to your God essence, and this has nothing to do with your ego, it just is. It's your soul, it's the essence of your being, you were born with it. But because we've been conditioned to believe that it's separate from us, that's why we're always needing to chase, to do more, to grind more, to have a conquest, to conquer, right? So that we finally feel like, oh my gosh, I'm powerful. Oh yes, I'm worthy. But you already are. So you want to separate yourself from this distortion. You want to be more aware of the distortions that you're co-creating with, because this is what feeds the illness. The illness is reflecting back where you don't have spirit, where you're disconnected from this eternal being, and you're over investing into your mind stories. And I call it the lower mind. There's a difference between your lower mind and your higher mind. Your higher mind is the one that's in living in alignment with your divinity, living in alignment with your spirit. And you want to train your mind to be in alignment with your higher mind, because, well, the lower mind, it happens. That's where, like, think of like the dirtiest, the worst experiences of human existence happening right now. And you have access to that on social media, on YouTube, in the news. Imagine like the worst of the worst neighborhoods, right? Think about their thinking processes. They're in survival. They're in animal consciousness. And then think of neighborhoods where it's just peace. Everybody's just sharing. Everybody trusts each other. Everybody has each other's backs. It's a different frequency of thought, right? And it all comes down to the emotional frequency, how the consistency of the emotions that you feel, right? So when you find yourself that you have a lot of shame, and you experience shame consistently, that is your emotional frequency, right? And a lot of us, we bypass the negative emotions because we've been taught that negative emotions disconnect you from what you desire. Actually, you can attract what you desire whilst experiencing the negative emotions. Your negative emotions are part of your wholeness. And when you're just focusing on positive emotions, you're not going to fulfill your fullest potential. Your fullest potential comes from experiencing all the spectrum of emotions. And these negative emotions that you're experiencing, of shame, of guilt, for example, you can list all the emotions that you're feeling in the comments below. When you're disconnecting from your heart space, it becomes harder to transmute these thoughts that you're having, that you're experiencing as psychosis. And when you disconnect from your heart space, the psychosis becomes like so chaotic, the noises go crazy, because you're not really paying attention to where the mental loops are pointing you towards in your heart space. I believe I did a video about this, a couple videos about this, where I went deeper about this. And it's not about being afraid of God, or if you're religious, or if you're not. I know God can be very triggering for a lot of people, and I understand that. It's not about like being afraid of God, of going to hell, or something bad happening to you. And I understand that, like, a lot of people feel like so many bad things are happening and God is not doing anything, right? This is not about that. This is about tuning into the frequency of the universe that is already living within you. And we have evolved past animals because we can co-create with the universe. Animals cannot. We can. And that's the gift of being a human being. And that's the fulfilling your fullest potential, is being aware of how to work with your 4 bodies. If you don't know what your 4 bodies are, I made an AI video about that. You can find that a couple of videos below. And when you do not know how to work with your 4 bodies, you don't know how to work with the chaos that's happening in your mind. And the thoughts are not the issue. When you're making them the issue, you're resisting them, you're making them bigger than you. It's not about being afraid of your thoughts. It's about finding power in your stillness. Because your stillness is where your God-given throne is. Your stillness is what is the divine essence. When you go out to nature, stillness is how you experience like reverence, is how you feel the essence of life in just being still. And when you're still, the information that's available to you is different. It immediately upgrades. Because now you're more aware of your body and where the tension is. You're aware if you're breathing or not. And if you're breathing, if it's shallow or deep. You're aware of the frequency. You're aware of whether your energy is in your body or not. You're aware of which thoughts are triggering you the most. Right? So this is the starting point. And from this starting point, you don't want to listen to the mind, you want to listen to the heart. And from the heart space, that's where you start being informed on the next step. And when I say heart, again, it's not about letting your emotions control your life. It's about letting them, okay, we're going deeper. Okay, so in your heart, there's also low heart and high heart. Low heart are those emotions that disempower you, right? And high heart are the ones that empower you. The low heart are the ones that disconnect you from your divinity, and high heart are the ones that unify your human to your divinity. And I made a video about this. You can find, I have a lot of videos about this. You can go check them out. But it's not about resisting the emotions either. It's about witnessing them, embracing them, not letting them overwhelm you. And when they do overwhelm you, you're not over-identifying with the emotions. You're not taking in other people's emotions. You're not resisting your emotions. You're witnessing, like, hey, I feel you in my body. I witness you, you're just water, and I am the container that this water, this emotional body is being activated. I wonder what's being cooked, what's being created through me. And from there, you get to be inspired to take the next empowered action, not disempowered, empowered action to pour into you. And that might look like walking away from whatever this circumstances are happening around you. It might look like going back into nature, grounding yourself. It might look like eating something yummy and nutritious. It might look like doing breath work. It might look like doing EFT. You know, if you don't have a toolbox, this is why I'm here. I'm here to support you to curate a toolbox that supports your unique human blueprint, because we all have different programmings. And this is what, once you master having a toolbox that supports your current weak points in your mind and in your emotional body, you become unstoppable, because you know yourself, the good and the bad, and you know your weak points, and you always have a tool available to help you pivot. And this is the point we want you to get at. But you won't get there until you stop seeing these things as being against you. They're working to support your ascension, to support the embodiment of wisdom that comes from your bloodline. And in the previous video, I said, or 2 videos ago, I said, your negative thoughts that were passed down from your ancestors, right? The survival blueprint, your soul chose it for a specific reason. You don't know why. I mean, what would be the point if you knew why? This human experience wouldn't be as interesting. But you chose it. Your soul chose it. Your human didn't. But your soul chose it. Your soul chose this meat suit. It was like, okay, we're going to get this meat suit from this bloodline combined together. We're going to bring these bloodlines together. We're going to cook me, and it's going to be the perfect solution, right? So all your ancestors came and refined through generations to create you. So you're the best embodiment out of all their trial and error. So there's the gift of your bloodline. And and I know in the Christian community, I know because I used to be Christian for like 20 years. So I only speak on this because this is the experience I know firsthand. But I know we don't really talk about ancestors. Ancestor is demonic, right? But we all know that it only became demonic because of colonization. And a lot of us have been disconnected from our native land, from our native way of being. Imagine generations, centuries of wisdom that has been passed down from our ancestors has been lost because somebody came in and said that's demonic. Because this is where our wisdom that anchored us into our body and anchored us into our body and anchored divinity within our body came from. But it won't come from intellectualizing God. It won't come from intellectualizing your worthiness. It won't come from attracting worthiness from things outside of who you already are. And worth comes from realization, self-actualization. Like, hey, listen, I've always been worthy because I chose to live. I chose to take my first breath and do this thing. I committed to life here. I came to earth for a reason. Everybody has a purpose, and it's a matter of whether are you choosing to invite whatever's going on in your mind as a rebirthing process, so that you're not bringing your old identity of how you perceive yourself and your mind and how things should be get in your way, and allowing not knowing to be a space where you get exposed to more of life. Because if you know everything, you're closed off from life. Because if you know everything, the universe is gonna be like, oh, okay, you wanna live in this tiny hole, gotcha, right? But you know there's more. You know it's an infinite space of limitless possibilities. But you gotta reprogram your mind, reprogram your heart to be able to hold these experiences you've never experienced before, to perceive differently, to carry yourself differently, to perceive yourself differently through other people. And I know it's a heavy topic because we do not like to be wrong. And it's not a matter of whether you're right or wrong. It's a matter of being aware of what you're doing right now that is not in service to your greatest good and to the greatest good of everybody. It's not about avoiding your spirit. It's not about bypassing your emotions. It's about respecting the sensitivity you're experiencing right now. The sensitivity is communicating to you something. And that's what you want to find out what it is. And it's not about thinking it too. It's about witnessing and receiving and letting go of control of the mind, of the stories. And being very picky with the voices you are internalizing. So if you're ready to take radical responsibility and you want to learn how to transmute your mind and everything that gets triggered in real time, the Sovereign Mind Activation is here to support you. And I'm curious to know who got activated, what got activated through you. Otherwise, I will see you on the other side. Oh yeah, you can find information below this video or in the About section. I might or might not do a second video on this. And if you do want me to do a second video, let me know what you want me to expand deeper on. Otherwise, see you.